want to look down then. Right, that'll be the last time.
It's all right. Starting with laughter, that's it, isn't it? You know, it's like...
We're not even going to take that out.
Yeah, exactly. Just leave it in.
I did it the other week with someone else, just like, he had this funny name, and he had like, I kept on reproducing it, I just went, you know what, this last one I'm just going with it.
Yeah, exactly. Class. I love it. You want authenticity, this is it, innit?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, I love it.
Less editing too.
Yeah. Class. That's where we're at. Yeah, last few months have just been insane, you know, it's like, it's so true on this journey, you know, we get leveled up, and when you get leveled up, then you get more challenges, you know, or opportunities, as I like to call them, innit? And so many opportunities have been coming in recently. For anybody who doesn't know, like the last 5 months of this year, I have been living down at Crops Not Shops in Glastonbury, where we've just done the Vision Quest together. And living on the land there has been the most beautiful, love-filled, heart-opening experience that I didn't know I needed, you know what I mean? Or I kind of did, but I didn't. You had to surrender and let go. Like, that doesn't start how I got down there. Really, I was skint.
Yeah.
I'd left my ex-partners, didn't know where I was at, anyway, I'll go into that later on, but like, I didn't know where I was at, and I was just literally sat there, and I put a post out on Instagram, and Che, the visionary at Crops Not Shops, got in touch and just be like, Sam, come down here, you know what I mean? It's like, I was just like, yeah, it's a long way from my daughter and everything, all the doubts and things, as the mind does. And I was just like, oh, I don't know if I can do that and things, but then I did, and yeah, as soon as getting there, it was like, your wounds start being brought up to the surface, and it's not good enough, and you're in mourning circle with living on the community. I'll give a breakdown basically for people.
It was brilliant, that. Thank you for inviting us to it.
Yeah, proper. But living in these communities is just unbelievable, because that when you're there, any unsettled like lie or whatever it is that's within your system will come out through the reflections of being around the people that you're living with and around. So basically the setup there is, there's loads of crops there. You know, we grew loads of vegetables and things, and the site's been there for about 3 or 4 years now. It's incredible to look at what they've actually managed to achieve in that time, being on that land. And there's maybe a core team of us that was about 15, 20 of us who were there solidly, and then we get volunteers coming in for 2-week periods. There's lots of festivals that happen on the land as well, which were just unbelievable. Like, just the Sacred Earth Gathering was just one of the most, I said one of them days was probably one of the best days of my life. And I was just being a service. I was working in the car parking and showing people where to park and things. It was unbelievable. But the basic setup is there's a load of crops there, we're growing the crops, and you do 4 hours, 4 days a week. So 16 hours in total, and then living there, you get to live there rent-free. And I was just in my fishing bivvy for that whole time. Other people in bell tents and vans and caravans and things. But it just, through the reflections of others of being on the land, this is the big takeaway from these places, it activated me massively and made me see a side of myself that I wasn't aware of. You know, I was aware of it, but I was always scared to be myself in those places. And, you know, and especially on this journey, as you find, as you awaken, a lot of us have had these interactions, relationships where you're not accepted in some way. So you hide who you are and you bottle it down. And the beauty about being on this land was I started to open up and express who I am. And I was found that instead of it being resisted by people, it was embraced, and you cry with people, and just the healing and the integration of all of yourself comes back to you through these places. And this is why they're very important energetically for people, I feel, because it gives them that freedom to be able to be themselves, you know, and slowly, you know, in morning circles, I remember, because we have a morning circle every morning at 9, where you go in, all the community comes round, you sit and you check in one by one, you go around. Hi, I'm Sam. I'm feeling a bit like today, actually, like ungrounded, energy's a bit weird and stuff, you know, didn't sleep very well, or, You know, or you say like, I feel really good today. You know, it's like it's brilliant being around all yous lot, and you're just shining love at people all the time and acceptance. And I remember the first time when I was there, I'm like, none of these people like me. I'm not liked. I'm not accepted. Da, 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 da. All these thoughts, you know. And whenever anybody went round the circle, triggered the living shit out of us because they're just like, no, I'm not happy today. No, it's like, it's about me.
The parasite within you.
Oh, it's about me. That's it, you know. And I'm just like, oh, I've done something wrong. Da, 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 da. All of these stories that we tell ourselves. But over time, being there, through like I'm a grafter, you know. It's like I love to work, and being there is really like just noticed. You know, I go into the tool shed, for instance, and I'm like, there's a fucking state in here, right? I'm going to clean all this up. So I drag everything out just on my own, you know what I mean? Put it all back in and tidy it all. And then it's just like, wow, cheers, Sam, for like cleaning all that yesterday in the thing. That's amazing. There's another shed down there if you want to do that. Because I love going into places, pulling everything out and putting it all back where it is, which is a metaphor for the work that I do in the calls and the mentorship and stuff like this, you know, pull it all out, go, we'll give it back to you there and reflect it back to you. A reflector in human design, 1-3. And yeah, it was just really beautiful noticing that change from when I went there. The growth and the acceptance, that's the big word, of who I truly am, shone forward.
Yeah.
And now coming back here, I'm in a completely different space than when I was here last time, you know. It's like, and that was really lovely to be able to see that. So these places are much more than just places where you grow food and do all that. That's a massive part of it, like getting your hands in the dirt and feeling the good energy from doing all that, and cooking with people, and, you know, just being in that community around fires on a night time and things.
Something that his ancestors did, and it was just normal.
Yeah, there's no TVs, you
I
know.
tried to talk to a relative the other day, and she was saying, "Oh, well, them drum circles, and they're a bit weird, and all that." And I went, "Just boil it down now." I says, "People getting together around a fire, which is normal, singing songs that ain't on radio or whatever, and they're having good conversations, or you've got most of society that watch soap operas Monday to Friday, and then they'll go to work and they'll talk about these programs of fake people." I went, which one sounds more disconnected? And you could see this penny just drop.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you've got to try and question people's way of thinking for it to hit home, haven't you?
Yeah.
And I think what you spoke about going down there is letting that veil drop on yourself and letting the real you come out, and other people acknowledging that and breathing confidence into you. Because confidence is the thing where you look at some people and you're like, how do they go out else wearing that? You know, like, but they're confident in what they wear. They're like it is about holding that confidence in high regard for yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, and acceptance, you know, for who you are. That's it. And I feel as though, you know, there's a big part of the journey for a lot of people is that isolation phase, where you're just like, no, I don't want to go out into the world, not going to be accepted. But you'll never know if you are going to be accepted unless you go out there and do those things, you know. And I didn't even know what I was looking for. I'm pretty, you know, surrendering to, you know, everything really. And it's on those days when you have no agenda, they're the best days. Yeah. You know, and you can wake up in the morning and go, today is going to be an absolutely amazing day. And sure as shit, it is, because you're writing it in. You've got that sort of like stimulus point that then transcends into the day. But the big takeaway from this is, as the world gets more chaotic, which it is going to, you know, but as a byproduct of the chaos, there is also an equal amount of peace and harmony ensuing, in equal balance whenever. This universe, you study the Tai Chi symbol, yin yang, and it's all there within itself, you know. There's the dark in the light and the light in the dark, and the fishes are chasing one another endlessly, you know, in this dance. And then that breaks the duality, you know. Yeah. And through the reflections of what I experienced down at Crops, it's amazing the amount of growth and acceptance that you have for yourself. And it brings you to that place of peace where I thought I was this scared person who didn't really want to be around people and all the rest, to, oh my God, no, I love being with the right people, the people who are willing to take accountability, to look at themselves. And through that, like, it was effortless. The amount of reflections that I would share with people about how I see them and where their energy is at, you know, because it's like deeply intertwined with energies and good energies. You then that almost like bridges that awareness within yourself of I accept you, I accept myself, you know, and that's the real beauty of these places. And it's the most exciting year that I've had this summer, going from I've got nothing. I am literally on my arse. I don't know where I'm going, what I'm doing, you know. I'm just going to go fishing for 5 days and just sit with myself and do nothing. And I did a 4-day fast before that, you know. And the start of April that I went down there, and then lasted out the whole summer. But now we've had to be off the land because of legislation and all the rest of it. But it's perfect because everybody's been activated, and now we're all branching out and going and maybe creating these other spaces around the place. I feel as though there needs to be a level of, you know, you need to give to yourself before you can be of service to others. That's a big part of this, you know, I feel, yeah.
That was my quest, I think, and just realising I can't. I've been, before going in quest, one of the main ones is I was trying to see where I should be placing as family. Should I be guarding it? Should I be in spaces of where this is happening? And the big takeaway that came straight away was it didn't matter where I was, I wasn't right. I were acting because I were acting out of fear of not being in the right place. I wasn't in the right place. I were being overreacted. I were being angry. It was me that were causing the disharmony in the family, but not seeing it through trying to protect. So I were doing the absolute opposite of what I was trying to do, and that were a massive realisation. And it hurt because it's like the one thing that I'm trying to do, I'm doing the opposite of. And you've got to pull yourself back to that point. And when I've spoke to a lady the other day, she says, at least you've got the actual balls to say that, like that you actually was that person. But she says, don't disarm yourself either, that you are searching for answers, you've got them, and you are striving in the right direction. But you can't, for going down there, I knew it was to take myself out of the boiling water. You can't see anything in boiling water. It was to get in that clear, still water and really see myself, or see what I thought it were gonna just show me all the parts that I needed to do first. But it's about me and regulating my own emotions and not being so sporadic. Like even the prayer ties, the bits where I like this is bullshit. I'm ringing you saying you best hurry up doing it because it's a bit of a pain in the ass. And so I ended up doing half mine, took them down, then they're all tangled and I had to redo them all. And even one of the ladies came over and was just like, you need to calm down because what you're putting in, energy you're putting into that. And I watched myself, I was watching all you lot, like, oh, you're all getting to talk and have a nice time. And they were doing cacao, so I thought they were going to come in the TP. So I'm like, oh, I've got all my stuff out and I'm going to be disturb all that. And I just see myself getting so wound up and I'm like, just calm it down. And it was funnily enough, by the time I'd just finished, Luke had just come out at Forest just to start, like minutes before. And I'm like, we're always going to be all right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the trust that, I mean, we spoke about it, didn't we? I should say we've been on a vision quest. And within this, it's a Lakota tradition. And you make 405 prayer ties, which is little 5 centimetre wraps of cotton, red, black, yellow and white. And you put a little bit of tobacco in them and then you piece it together and you put your prayers into it. And I just sat there all day, like when you jogged me about it. I spent a whole day and a bit doing these prayer ties. And I was just like, oh, it's a lot to do at the start. And then actually through the process, I was listening to Lakota songs, you know, while I was doing it, and putting that intention into each one of the prayer ties and going like, wow, yeah, it's like, this is for, you know, my ex-partner, or this is for myself to find strength within myself. And you're putting all these prayers into it, and then you're tying them onto this red cotton, basically. And that is the boundary for your, for where you sit in the wood. And you sat there for 4 days and 4 nights, no food, no water, and you're just in nature. No phone, no notebook, no nothing. I took my incense. That was pretty much it. You have a sleeping mat, a tarp in case it rains, which it did. It deluged down.
Two thunderstorms.
which was sent from God for me, because I actually drank on the Sunday. We were in there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and anyway, I'll go into that later on. But anyway, that's the process. You sit in this 3x3 square. I had this beautiful beech tree with me, and Joe, the facilitator, who's an incredible human being. And he's been doing this for years, like, over 10 years, basically, going over and doing not just vision quests, but also sun dances, where you tie hooks through your chest, I was going to say the meat of your chest, the skin of your chest, and you hang off the tree and you dance for 4 days and 4 nights, no water.
I wondered what they were. I didn't know what they were.
Yeah, that's what he does. And so anyway, back to the quest, and it was really interesting. I just knew when Joe suggested it to me a few months ago. He said that we might be doing it on the land somewhere around here, and it turns out we did. We're doing it on Crops land and the neighbouring wood. I got a big yes from the universe. I was drawing cards, and it flung out, and I was just like, yes, go for it. And I was just like, okay, cool, right. So, and that was it. And then Spirit sort of pulled me off the land for the last month or month and a half to work away, so that I could key in my own. I had a sauna there, thanks Spirit. Like, it was just amazing. I was waking up
that was just lining you up for sweat lodges, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. It's like I've done a few sweat lodges now, and they've been incredible. Yeah, so basically you're sat in the wood for these 4 days and 4 nights, and whatever comes up, comes up. And all your prayers around you, and you're praying. I was doing my prayers with my beads and things on the daily. But I was absolutely shattered, It's like I'm pretty thin anyway, and I was worried about my kidneys. But interestingly, kidneys is where you store your fear, Taoist principles in Ayurveda and things. And they've been playing up leading up to it, so that was always at the back of my mind in this. So anyway, Friday we went in after 2 doors of a sweat lodge, so the 2 opens, and they were Jeremy's ones, which were really strong. Really strong. Yeah. I love Craig's honesty, though.
He tapped out.
He did, He came back in again, It's like, but he knows his limits. That's it, And it's like my first sweat lodge, I couldn't do it either, It's like I got two rounds in or something, and I had to leave, It's like up on the land in Cumbria.
Mind games of it all, like the whole practice. Once you start to realise
I'm gonna die.
For,
yeah.
It's like, and I'm not good at, like, it came up for me saying I'm not good enough. Like, I was going through that moment of, shall I go back to Zoe? She's struggling. Also, I couldn't hack it in that second night when Jeremy doing that. So when I come out, and then I heard girls saying, "Oh, is that man come out?" And I'm like, it was the shame that came over me, the guilt, and I'm like, this is brutal. And I'm like, maybe I'm not. Like, they've got that parasite voice going, maybe you're not cut out for this. Maybe this isn't your time. And I really, that night as well, I'd gone back in again, and I had to come out again. It was just unbearable, and I think you all went for food and stuff after that night. I just went back, like licking my wounds, and I was really going through it. And in the morning, I'd spoke to a couple of ladies, and they just said, just stop beating yourself up, ask yourself why you first came here. And that's something that Shredfast always says, like when you're doing workouts, when it's really hard, ask yourself why you started. And once you take yourself to that self-doubt voice that's telling you you're not good enough, it's not you. It's trying to scare you off it. Trying to keep
trying to scare
safe.
you away from your potential, isn't it? That's it, yeah. Through past conditioning or whatever. It was interesting that the dynamic of that. Oh, failed, because that's what came up for both of us, Within there, I'm not going to go too deep into the quest itself, but what it showed me was a level of self-acceptance. And I thought I was going into the quest looking to break through it, be strong, and compare myself to other people or whatever, they've done it, so I have to, all of these thoughts. But I realised all of that is conditioning, being in there. Like, I drank on the Sunday, and Friday, Saturday, I didn't really sleep during the night, and I was resting during the day and things, but I couldn't quite sleep, and I was going into these weird liminal spaces. And then on the Saturday night, I got scared. I got really scared.
Was that the full moon night?
No, that was the Sunday. And I was fearful. I was just like, my kidneys are going to pack in. And I listened to my body nudges. Our nervous system is the connection to the divine, and I get big nudges on my knees, on my nose, on my arms, wherever, and it's literally spirit going, touching you and going, yeah, be aware of that, or whatever it is. Yeah, go and do that thing. And I remember on the Saturday night, I was like, I need to drink. I'm terrified. You know, it's like, what are my kidneys packing? And those thoughts, what if you never see your daughter again? What if you do yourself irreversible damage? Blah, 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 blah. And so that was at my limit. And, you know, still 48 hours or so without any water after a sweat lodge is pretty good, you know. It's like, I'm justifying it now. It's like,
it's fine, you're human.
but it is. That's it. And this is the acceptance. And I didn't know. I thought I was going in there for strength and like, I'll break through and do it and do the hard stuff. When actually the hard stuff was admitting my limit and expressing myself. And that's what it taught me. Because on the Saturday night, I was in there and I was scared and I was just thinking, right, my car is down in the car park and it's got a bottle of water in it, and I could run down to the car and get that bottle of water. And I put my shoes on 3 times. You know, it's like, oh yeah, no, I can't go, I can't do this, you know what I mean? And then took them off, laid down again, and just like half an hour later, oh no, I'm going to go and do it and put my shoes on. Didn't, held off, resisted. And then I heard clear as day from the centre of my mind, the pineal gland, it was like, the divine will give you everything that you need in divine timing. So I was just like, right, okay. So then I just laid there and I wasn't sleeping. I was just exhausted. And then on the Sunday, pitter-patter of rain started. Well, it was rolling thunder coming in.
Yeah. I thought it were a plane at first. I like,
yeah.
Oof, and then like, nah, it's coming close.
Yeah.
It keeps on stopping and stopping.
It's it. It's so the thunder came in, and I was sat there like, oh, thank God, here we go, thank you. Like, never been so grateful. And then it just started pitter-pattering, and you know, and then it torrentialed it down. And I was like, right, I don't care, I'm having this water, you know. And it's just like, because I remember Jeremy the chief saying, you know, if spirit brings you food or water, then eat it. If you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was talking about in a metaphysical sense.
I think it's in whatever way you
Yeah.
perceive it.
Totally. So anyway, it's just as well that, because then I had 3 handfuls of water, and I've never been so grateful for water in my entire life. You know, it's like, that's the longest dry fast I've done, is that 48 hours. And then I was like, oh, as soon as I got this water in me, I had this energy, and then I could sleep. So then I rested down for maybe 2 hours or something, and woke up still pissing it down, and I'm soaked really, and I was just sat underneath this little tarp thing that I'd made. It's quite chuffing myself actually. And then it was like, and then I woke up with this wash of shame and guilt and fear and judgment of myself and comparison to other people. All of it came up, and I didn't get it at the time. And then I was there like, oh, shit, they said they were going to come round on Sunday evening and check us. What if they see that my mouth's dry and give me all my power away, you know, because I'm not being honest. You know, and that fear of being judged by caregivers or whatever's happened in our life that has brought up that wound or put that wound into us, that's what needed to be seen. That's what needed to be integrated. And without that, and that's why when I was thinking I need to drink, my body was nudging and tapping and going, yeah, you do. You know, whether or not I could have survived, you know, beyond that, I'm sure I could have done. But in that moment, in order to bring up that shame to be seen, that's it. We're all resistant to that. That's the cream of what we're here to do, is to see that. Yeah. And spirit is infinite intelligence. It knows exactly what it's got to make you do in order to you to see your wounds, to be able to alchemize that energy within you. And then on the after that, for 6 hours, I was just losing my mind. Oh my God, right, I'm going to have to work out loads so that I can pretend to be knackered and do all this. And it's like, none of this is honest. And then I laid down under the tarp and was just like, this is happening for me. So what is it that's what? And it just went, dink, be honest. You don't have to hide who you are. You don't have to pretend that you're stronger than you are. And in fact, all the strength that I received from that was in the acceptance of myself. And it makes us feel emotional speaking about it, because that's a huge wound for me, is that I'm unlovable, I'm worth nothing, you know, and you can see it in community and everything, but within that, it really catalyzed that integration of that, and for me to truly see that. And then immediately my heart went whoa and opened up. And I was like, wow, all I've got to do is just be completely honest about what's happening all the time. You know, not in a way that's like brutal honesty with people and doing
tear people down, but
it's knowing how to compassionately hold space for yourself and hold space for others in that as well. That's a big part of this. So anyway, that was beautiful. That's what I received from that, is just be honest. And that's what my nan is always channeling to me through the quantum, because she's still there. And the honesty plant, it's arrived so many times within my awareness. When I'm in alignment, honesty will set you free. And that's what the big thing, the truth will set you free. It will also set everybody else free, because if you're open and honest in the work that you do with people, it allows and gives them permission to also free themselves and to accept themselves. And that's the work that I do in the calls, is that acceptance. I will accept, I will not judge you. I know where you're at because I can feel that energy. I will cry with you if needs be, because I can feel what that feels like to be in that place. Compassion, that's what it taught me. You know. What about you?
Yeah, no, I think we talked about it after. When I came out of the forest, I didn't fully understand what had happened. I still were a bit like, I didn't fully, but it was until we went in the sweat lodge and we're hearing what other people were saying, and that's what ties me to it. The compassion taught me, and then they were reflecting all the things that were going on with me, and I think that where I was saying, I understand what activates prayer and why it's such a powerful practice, is because when you're tied onto that compassion for people and you're hearing the stories before or after, you'd find yourself praying for them, and you had the gears in motion that were generating it, putting the energy in motion for them, not rather than just going, oh, I really want this, I want 400 grand a year kind of job, or I want a new car, I want a new house, or whatever it be. You're not saying that charged. You're not saying it with any meaning, but hearing people's struggles and how you want them to be able to come out the other side, you're all charging that emotion, and I think it's amplifying it to make it that powerful. Yeah, and that was kind of my way of seeing it. Yeah, and I like I was saying to you off air, it were thinking you're good at football, and then turning up to 30, 40 people and realising you're not no good, or these people are far more connected, or well, it were good to see it because they're also seeing. That's what I kind of wanted going down on the quest, is not being able to not using a psychedelic or something of that magnitude to get that connection back, because what I were doing is when I were having psychedelic trips the last couple of years, is when I'd have them for the next 2 months, I'd feel a really strong connection to source and be able to tap in, but I had to then take some more, and I did it for most of last year. I think I had one trip, so I was looking for that. Where did it tie in? And I wanted something to be more grounded and something more real, and that's what it kind of did. Well, it did not kind of did. It did, and I found it fascinating even eating after. Like I did have some. 2 days after, I had some sugar and I felt it within my veins, like everything tighten up. I said to Zoe straight away, like, I can feel how much that's inflamed me. Whereas I've never done a dry fast 4 days. I think I did 2.5, and that were hard. But I was working, so it were different. I didn't have just my mind on me and my body. Whereas there were nowhere else to be other way with your mind and your body. Yeah, and I loved the idea of this actually aimed at 12-year-olds and up. Because I was saying to Zoe, I'd really like it if on the next one, I think Joe's doing one in Wales, and I said I'd like to go as a family and support and get as family. I'd love my little lad to be able to go in there when he's 12-year-old. If that's something that he wants to do. I'm not going to go, oh, you have to do it. But I want him to be around them kind of ceremonies and see what crack is. And he can hear the struggles, and he can hear like what the things that bring people together, and get that time in nature. And it doesn't have to be in 4 days. They might do like a day or 2 days or whatever it may be. I just think with society as it is, and I've been asking many people, when is a crossover from a boy to a man and no one can answer me. I'm like, that's a pretty good like initiation into that.
100%.
And I think we've got too many man-childs. I wasn't even starting to grow up until 25 onwards, and then really after 30. And I think it's too late for people then. A lot of people don't get saved. They're into them patterns and it stays that way.
Yeah.
But I think it's not weird being in nature. That's the weird thing about what everyone says, like in society, it's weird that I'm like, it's natural habitat. It's where we should be.
Yeah. Like, I love it. I'm so at home with trees. Like, trees are my element, you know. It's like I go around the country visiting all these ancient yew trees mainly, but any oak trees that are over like whatever age, it doesn't matter. I can connect to any of these trees. But sitting there and looking up into the canopy, I remember when I first went in, I'd be narrow focused.
Yeah.
Like, my focus would be narrow, and I'm looking at all these individual points. By the end of it, it's almost like your perspective opens, and so too your perspective and your openness also opens within your energy as well. And I remember just looking at the entire canopy and just being like, wow, and just relaxing into that. And that was such a profound realization, because I felt it, like you say, you know, I can't remember who I was speaking to the other day about psychedelics. Oh, it was a lad at the vegan fest, Simply Raw Just Pete. And there was a guy there and he was saying, like, you know, I noticed, like, I went in to do an ayahuasca ceremony and then I went to do another one and it was lesser. Like, the effect that it had was lesser. And then I did a third one, it was less again. And then fourth one, it barely did anything, you know. And I think a lot of these people expect these things to do the work for you. It doesn't happen. They open the door, but then that door, if you're not integrating what it is, that door slowly closes. And it's just like, oh, I've got to do it again. You know, as a mate of mine who used to do the ceremonies, I've only done one ayahuasca with peyote the next day, and I sort of got it from that. You know, now if I want to dance or I'm at a festival, I'll take some mushrooms and have a good time.
Yeah.
I don't use them for healing as such. You know, things will be realised through that, because I did them, you know, impromptu at that another festival at the Priory. It was just somebody was handing around this thing and it was really strong.
Yeah.
You know, we were all just like, oh. So anyway, left the actual site, went down into my tent, and I remember just breathing. My heart opened immediately. As soon as it did, I was just like, oh wow, this is the mushrooms doing this. It's showing me what's possible. And it was almost quite sensual and beautiful. And then I knew it was going to close back down again. It was just like, you do that. You can do that. You have the power. And that's what these places show you, I feel, is that without any stimulation, without anything external, you are able to reach these states through just breath. And that was what I came away with on the Sunday evening, which was the lunar eclipse, which was so powerful. I was laying in bed like, right, I could just go to bed now. And Spirit's like, nah, you're not, mate. You know, you're staying up. And I'm like, right, what's going on then? And literally I'm speaking out. I'm like, right, what's going on then? What are we doing? You know, and it was just like breath. It's breath, isn't it? And I'm intuitively listening to the little voice in the back of my head. So I'm there doing the breath work. And then that is opening up my heart and then transmuting and flooding down to my hip, where you could say all the trauma stored. I don't like that term, but the way your experiences that you've bottled down have been stored in your fascia and your somatic, like, you know, body. And through that, I was able to sort of gain an understanding, a deeper level of understanding that you can do all this. What if you had nothing? You know, what would you be able to do? Is, you know, the Eskimos who, you know, I don't know why I pick on the Eskimos, but like, you know, if the Eskimos are there in the thing and it's like, we don't have any ayahuasca or anything like that, but we have these amazing, beautiful landscapes, and, like, you know, just going about your day to day is a meditation for them.
Yeah.
So they're always in that state. I don't know that, but, you know, it's like, but as an example of that, it's got to be open to everybody. It's the best term for the divine or God or great spirit that I've found is openness. The ability to be honest with yourself. That frees energy better than any psychedelic, anything that you can possibly do, because you're coming back to that place of authenticity, and then you're raising the vibration of your state through your cellular memory and everything, because you're literally telling yourself the truth about who you are.
And when you're doing that, that's regulating yourself.
Yeah.
And then you are like the way that I keep on getting shown is like we're a magnet to whatever it may be.
Mm.
Like the more that we the panic and the fear, then
Mm.
all this like I don't know how your cogs work in your head, but if that goes, all
Right.
these bad outcomes like do 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 do.
Yeah.
As soon as you slow it down and you
Yeah.
slow your breath and you realise that you are telling truth and you people sleep easier telling the truth.
Yeah.
So you deregulate all that, and then when you're in that calmness, you realise all these thoughts aren't coming so thick and fast. They're just coming very slowly, and you get to choose.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is a very hard one to start unpicking.
Yeah. I mean, shit, mate. Like my mate who was in the army, who was in the army, you know, and he said this really profound thing. He said, like, you know, when you're in a war zone, you know, it's just like you're there, you're present, you know, and that stuff's easy, you know, like going out and like facing that fear. See, as a man, especially within this lifetime, women are a lot better at speaking out stuff, you know. And I notice this within men, to be able to go, I fucked up there, you know, I made a mistake, you know, I take accountability for that. That's really hard for people to do, to break that paradigm within their mind. But once you do, it changes your energy instantaneously. Like, you know, everyone's talking about like integration and stuff like this. If you are fully honest all the time in a compassionate, loving way to yourself and others, there's no resistance. There's no fear filter in front of your reality, because you're no longer scared by what anybody else thinks, or, you know, and that's the big oppressive energy that's been put onto people, where you don't want to go near that, you know what I mean? Or what if you lose your mind? What if you go crazy and all of this? But if you do that, especially as a man, then you liberate yourself. You become free, and you don't incur any more karma then either. Because every time we lie, we create a false version of ourselves that we eventually will have to undo in some way, you know. But the undoing of it, you know, it's easy to build up this false persona about who you think you are or whatever it is. But the joy of remembering who you are through that process is fucking amazing. You know what I mean? And it's one of the hardest things to be able to bridge, because everybody in society, you know, the parallel that I find between, you know, the masks in COVID, everybody's putting a mask on. Yeah, shit. Because everybody's scared. Everybody's in that lie state and they don't realise. So we're just complying because we're trying to pretend to be somebody that we're not.
Yeah.
And that's the trap of what society's doing. It's going, you don't want to step outside of the box. You don't want to be perceived as weird. And it's just like, yeah, you do.
Yeah. I keep on getting called quirky. Like, oh, you like quirky
Nice.
things, or you are quirky.
Love
I'm like,
it.
good. Yeah, I'm
Puts the
like,
badge on.
yeah,
Love
I
it.
like
Yeah.
want to be.
Weird.
Yeah. I like, if you, I forgot what it says now. Not Bible, dictionary. It says weird, and it says like to be different. I'm like,
Yeah.
We're all supposed to be a little bit different. We're
Yeah.
supposed to bring something else to the show. I mean, not picking on stuff like, but there's the big lip scene and all that.
Aye.
It's like copy and paste.
Superficiality. Yeah.
And there's a shop down the road, and it's called it's an aesthetics place, and it's called BU.
Is it? The irony's class, isn't it? Like, you've got to laugh at the irony of the last few years, especially.
Nudged Missus, and I went, look at that. She just started laughing. I'm like, it's anything but.
Be you, not you. It's like, yeah, exactly. That's it. And to caveat this as well, everybody's free to do whatever the fuck they want in this reality. But the irony is very funny, because we're all going like, you know, be you, and you go in there and there's 5 lassies who all look the same, you know. It's like that look, isn't it, you know?
It's how much
like, I'm not enough is what it's saying on a deeper level, isn't it? I'm not enough.
On the outer as well, on the exterior, like, it's even recently when I've gone back to dentist, and they're like, it's gone private, and have you noticed there's a chip in there? I'm like, yeah, I have, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you're trying to pray on, and it's the same energy of going to like a sofa shop. Mm-hmm. You can feel the energy of the salesman coming over, and it's the same. I'm like, you're trying to prey on people's insecurities, and I ain't got them.
Yeah.
I'm me.
Yeah, exactly that. And it is that superficial world that we live in is trapping a lot of people because we think we have to be something to be seen in that light, you know, when actually the beauty and the liberated state of being and the freedom that comes from being yourself is unmatched by anything.
I love the honesty out of people.
Mm.
No matter what they wear, or I have always done it. It's, even if they're telling me the darkest secrets, I'm like, you know, they actually trust me with that, and then it normally opens some up in yourself anyway. At the
Yeah.
same time, and
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, he has the balls to say it.
Yeah. I see you and I feel you because that's it, isn't it? You know, and that's the beauty of the work that I love to do with people is to just accept them. You know, it's like, oh, I'm addicted to this, and you know, thinking I'm like, fantastic. How does that feel? You know, it's like, you know, because I know that because I was addicted to weed, fucking booze, all things. You know what I mean? It's like gambling. You know, I used to sit there on an evening when my missus had got to bed because I was ashamed by it because I got a dopamine hit from it, and I'd watch people playing puggies, like slot machines, you know, just endlessly playing roulette and things. And I sit there for hours and I should go to bed, but I'm actually quite addicted to this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, because that buzz, you know, but I didn't understand it at the time. Whereas now, going back to what you were saying before, it was like, we can only change what we accept about ourselves. Good luck trying to change something that you're unaware of, you know. And as the awareness and the consciousness grows on this planet, I'm really inspired by people who have the bollocks to just stand up and go like, you know, I messed up here, you know, and it's like, but I take accountability for that, you know. And since the Vision Quest, actually, it's been really interesting because straight after the Vision Quest, we did a ceremony as well. And in that, I felt very deeply sadness that I'd been repressing about my ex-partner. And like I literally sat there and just allowed myself to feel real deep sadness that I'd been repressing. And then this goes on to, and I hope other men can connect to this as well, you know, and women, there's dynamics at play where you never draw in, you know, a reflection that your ego wants. You draw in the uncomfortable thing to shift you into that authenticity. And the accountability of taking this. And anyway, right. So within society, there are anxious and avoidant attached people. You know, you get mirrored with this. And when you're honest, you're able to admit that you are these tendencies, you know, and it's like, I see that within myself. I have avoidant patterning. So what that means is when love comes in and it feels really raw and open and loving and things like that, like not with everybody, but with certain times when it's like a romantic connection or a deeper connection, when it gets deep, the inner child in me goes, this isn't safe. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I shut down, my whole nervous system just shuts down. It goes numb. You know, if somebody's crying in front of me or whatever it is, like I'm just there like, right, I feel nothing. I feel absolutely nothing. This is really strange. Why is this? You know, it's like because in the past, maybe you've given love and it's been thrown back at you and it's not been accepted.
When
or
you've been vulnerable. Yeah.
When you've been vulnerable, you know, so then it feels unsafe to your inner child to be able to express that. So that then you get stuck in that patterning. So this is what I did in my last relationship, was to run away when things got, you know, lovely, like beautiful, you know. It's like, oh, no, gonna get hurt. I know, I'll save the grace and I'll fuck off.
Leave on a high.
Yeah, leave on a high low. That was it, really. It was like, and so I'd bugger off, and I never didn't understand it. I'm like, why the hell have I just done that? Like, I don't get this. It's like, and your ego mind will create stories and identities and project stuff onto the other partner, you know, and that was, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand why I did these things, you know, and it's happened a few times in my life where I'd shut down, I'd either act all like coy and quiet and stuff and go within myself and try and figure out how this can't happen again, rather than being honest with myself and going like, this scares me, you know, I'm scared of this because it's getting too real now. And that's what came up in the quest, was this deep sadness that I felt for my partner. And I allowed myself to feel that. And then I felt, right, I need to reach out here and make amends, because I wasn't consciously aware of what I was doing. But your ego mind will tell you that was the right thing. Well done for you for getting out of there. You've saved yourself a load of grief. And you're like, oh, the calm nervous system again.
Yeah.
But then all I did to suppress the real feelings was that I'd overeat. I know, like, you know, it's just like,
He can eat.
I can't eat, you know, I don't know where it all goes. But, you know, in that, notice these tendencies. Right, that's an unhealthy attachment, and I'm trying to get dopamine because I don't want to feel this deeper level of love, really. That's what it is, you know. So I allowed myself to grieve in that ceremony. And then after that, it was like, right, I need to apologize for doing that, you know, but also I need to apologize to my inner child for not seeing you, you know. And since then, it's been like straight out of the quest and into deep shadow work, you know. And it's been beautiful because I've reconnected with my partner, and it feels now not like a threat. And the openness that I'm exuding also is filtering into her reality as well. And we're now at a place where we're able to grow together, and we're recognizing these avoidant and anxious attachment styles. And instead of viewing them and being in them, you know, this is massive actually, because this filters out into the rest of your reality. Once you start to take accountability for this lack or this inability to commit to something, then you commit to yourself, and you commit to your business, and you commit to all of these things that I've been going, because I'm going like, this abundance is you, and I'm going like, no, it's not, I'm not worth that. But yeah, it's really beautiful to see this dynamic play out from that. You know, it wasn't a psychedelic trip, it was just sitting in the woods, and how this is, be honest, you know, be honest. But sometimes I feel as men, we get confused about that honesty. And I notice this within myself and everybody else, is that sometimes we can't connect to that level of honesty within ourselves. And when we can't, it stifles and stagnates our life so that we can't move forward in other areas of it. So it's massive, the implications of this, you know, especially for men, I find, because the paradigm usually is that the men is the avoidant, you know, it's like 70-30 split, something like that. So I noticed when I was avoiding that, and like I couldn't find fault in my ex-partner. She just wanted to love me, you know, deeper than I've ever been loved in my entire life. And now I'm like, fuck it, let's do this, you know. It's like let's really go and make a good go at this, you know. And it feels so freeing because I've never been in this space in my consciousness before in this lifetime. Or maybe you have when you were younger.
For this version of you that's being able to be seen, and actually connect to that.
Yeah, totally.
Because that is a new side of being vulnerable, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, and that's the strength, is that vulnerability. And like I say, that's what thought was going into the I'll break through it. No, the strength was being able to go like, I'm scared, I need help, you know, you know. That's big.
It did a lot for me. Like you're saying, the shadow work, so much has come up for me. Because I think I'm a good person. And I always say this, like, we all
You are a good person, Craig.
I am, but there's so much of areas that I wasn't. Even like one of the gentlemen said in there, like, not laughing at your missus's jokes and watching that light dim, and I was like, fuck, that hit hard. Because I haven't been joyous recently because you've been in anger or you've been in fearfulness. You can't laugh because you can't be in the same place at the same time. And you just look at like, fuck, how long has that been going on? How long have I been dimming that light out in her? Yeah. And it's now time for me to step up and start breathing life into that again. Yeah. And start filling her cup. Because once that fear's removed, and you know, you can move. Like, I think you knew when you were in that quest how many prayers were getting answered for you. You could feel the energy shifting. Like, I know that anger's got, like I was saying off air with you, I know that I can go in rooms with people now that I couldn't before. And it's just shifted it completely. And I don't know how to explain that. I'm not as high reactive even with Luna, the dog, she's been like teacher, and this is
Mm.
where I'm starting to learn the compassion, where the triggers are. I'm starting to say thank you.
Yeah.
Like we've all heard songs before where people say, "Oh, when they've had a cheat or whatever, man's treated them bad or vice versa,"
Mm-hmm.
and like want to say thank you to you because that's where my strength was, and that's why I'm understanding it is. It's the reversion of me that needed to die,
Mm-hmm.
and I got the card a couple of weeks prior to that said like rebirth, and I knew what were coming, but not to what degree,
Mm.
and it's been. I think what hurt for me after is like even being truly honest with Zoe and telling her and vulnerable of saying it's me being fucking everything up.
Mm.
Like on levels that I couldn't see that I was fucking it up.
Yeah.
But realising that it has been you, that hurt knowing that you're trying to be a protector and you're doing the absolute opposite.
Mm.
But you need that time to go and recalibrate and yeah, I what would be your tip like for anyone that's thinking about doing a quest or something along them lines? What would be the thing that you'd try to indicate for people? Like, because I know we have this battle in our mind sometimes. Like, why are we drawn to this? Why are we drawn to that?
Mm.
What's the tipping point?
I don't know. I don't know myself really because, like, beautifully, spirit did take me away, and put me in that place where I was able to do saunas in the mornings and everything like that. And that's the physical aspect of it, which did definitely help. But it's more if you're just getting a nudge intuitively that you want to step up and test yourself. It doesn't have to be in a vision quest. It can be in any aspect of your life, isn't it? That's it, really. Then listen to that voice, and it's because if this was 3 years ago or something, and I'd signed up for it, I'd be shitting myself. Whereas this time it felt, because I'm so tapped into the energetics of my own body and the knowing that this is right for you, you kind of surrender your anxiety or whatever it is, because you know that that's what it shows you is like life is perfect all the time. But going back to, I don't know what tips to give really. It's just if you get an intuitive nudge to go and do it. But that's what the thing was. On that Sunday, it's all perfect, Sam. And I'm like, how is this perfect? I'm freaking out. Like, I've got to do it. And it's like, wait a while. And when I calmed down and laid down and relaxed fully, that's when the message came. It was just be honest, be honest. And be honest if you don't know what your truth is as well. That's a big one for men, because we get so confused, and that confusion leads to us resisting that.
And speeding things up and trying to grab, and that's what it was teaching me straight away. Is like how everything that I've been doing is so chaotic. So how am I supposed to see the beauty in anything when I'm gripping and gripping and trying to hold on to this new thing? And it's like we spoke off air of like, go to the things that are gonna help people and not how your mind's gonna try and grip hold of it. And things can unfold much more beautiful once you let go of this it's being attached to things and outcomes, and how you think that you're in control of the ship. You're not. You're not. There's something far greater than us. If we can put ourselves into situations where we are of service for people, but we've got to be regulated ourselves.
You've got to fill your cup up first before you start giving, and it's like one of my mentors, Michelle Vickers, she sort of says like, stop helping everybody all the time, it's like, because the true letting go and surrendering is in that when you help yourself, you're also helping the collective, and everybody overgivers. There's so many overgivers in the world right now because they feel as though if I'm not doing this, I'm not doing it right, when actually kind of the opposite is true, because if you're overgiving all the time, you're going to end up drained, and then other people are going to have to lift you up. So it's selfish in a way. You've got to be selfish to be selfless, but then that's a paradox as well. But you want to see good in the world, find it within yourself first. You know, don't do it from a place of not truth, you know, or dishonesty. Really, it's unconscious, a lot of the dishonesty, because people don't understand it from that perspective. But you know, it's like you've got to. You don't have to. You can do whatever you want, but like you know, you've
Just
got
a side
to.
note.
You've got to both listen to me and not listen to me. You know, it's like, because this is where it gets to. Within that any time, I'm locked in these paradoxes, and I'm like, there really is no right and wrong to any of this. The Tao, you know, right and wrong only exist within the illusion of time, and time is the illusion. So, you know, whenever you have a detrimental to your logical mind thing happen, experience, that always, if you're conscious and you're accepting and you're willing to change, that always gets transmuted into something that's positive. You know, like the most horrendous experience of going to hell realms through buffo ceremonies and all of that, going psychotic, that was the best turning point in my life, you know. So if anybody's watching this and is freaking out right now, going like, I'm losing my mind, I'm losing my mind, I'm losing my mind, like, align to the truth that is coming through within these messages and listen to that little voice. All the other voices will be going like, you're worthless, you're shit. Listen to the voice that's going like, you're all right, because there is always that voice, because I've spoken to so many people about this.
It's the quiet one.
Yeah, it's a little quiet one that's going like, I love you.
Yeah.
You know, you're loved, just wait, be patient. It's all right. Everything's being worked out. You know, you may feel like you're losing everything right now. Sometimes in order for us to get onto our highest timeline, we need to surrender our logical mind, which is locked in fear, and a lot of it is acting out of fear. You know, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. That's it, isn't it? You know, the essence of what a lot of us have done. But you've got to make those mistakes, those mistakes, in order to get you to the fullest version of you, the back to wholeness, you know, or the remembrance that you are already whole and you are good enough. But that comes through honesty.
Well, that's what I was doing as well. Like, because of that childlike stage, and I wanted to do or birth all these businesses and help all these people. So I'd be saying, "Oh, we'll do this and I'll do that," and I'd overspread myself, spread myself too thin. So then I couldn't keep my word. So then I'd got into this loop of I haven't kept my word. So now I've got I had no trust within myself of following through with anything that I was doing, and I was just going through these loops of patterns.
Yeah.
So I just started like going back to doing burpees for these 100 days, like just keeping it simple, like doing the things that are starting to do that, and not overtake it, not try to take on everyone else's stuff, or try say that I'm gonna do stuff and not do it. Like the charity ride, I am gonna get on with. That's something that I think can help everyone. But normally I'd be coming back from a mushroom trip or whatever, and I'd be doing 10 things at once, and not one would get done. So it's like focus on one or two things, and just go with that, and see how it unfolds.
Try your best, isn't it? You know, in whatever situation, always do your best. You know, but don't spread yourself too thin. And this is what, you know, Michelle says in that, don't help everybody, because what we're doing really energetically is we're disempowering them, and we're not trusting that their life, however fragmented and fucked up and you know, in pain they are, it's not for us to sort that out. That's their initiation almost. So when the chaos ensues out here, it's to activate that deeper level of accountability. And in the initial stages of it, it looks like you're losing your mind, and all you want to do, because you're a kind person, is you want to help them through it. But a lot of the time, unless they ask you for help, don't get involved in other people's stuff. Because what you're doing is you're saying, I know better, from a kind-hearted place, but it's a distorted place. It's not coming from truth, in essence. It's coming from this egoic, I need to fix and, you know, control and do all this, and that's the ego mind coming in. It seems to be well-intentioned, but actually the real surrendering and letting go is like, you know, obviously be concerned for people, obviously show compassion to them, you know, Don't just go, you're going through the shit right now, it's going to be great on the other side. You know, it's like, in essence it is, but they have to figure that out on their own, you know.
And it's through direct experience that I've noticed that's when the change happens. You've got to go through it yourself, and you've got to go things that you are drawn to, go do them. Like try. I'd keep on saying this, like when family members haven't got what the vision quest is or whatever. I'm like, when life is going shit, like say a football club is doing shit. It's lost 5 games on bounce, but it's played the same players, same personnel every time. Everyone will be changing for a change of plan or change of personnel, a change of a toolkit. If we see it up and down, so why wouldn't I try that? Why wouldn't I try something different that I hadn't tried?
Yeah.
And see what the outcome is. And I think this is where people should really be a little bit more open-minded of trying new experiences if they're in a rut, rather than just someone saying, go to AA, and is it working? And maybe it does for some people, and some people it don't. 'Cause it's just a lot of people, in a lot of eyes that, a lot of people that have told me is, it's the same kind of people with the same problems all spewing into the same bucket. It becomes this.
Yeah.
And it might help some people, but try a different toolkit. Try some things that, like, that were an ancient praxis. And it's got so many sides to it. Like, even when you're in that sweat lodge and I got the serpent and then skin's peeling off me as I'm in there and stuff like that. And you feel things shift, and I think it dissolved for me as well. It dissolved a lot of prisons that I had on my mind about ceremonies, and it kind of opens it up to expand. Yeah, I find it fascinating.
Yeah, massively. Like, there's no rite of passage for anybody nowadays, is there? Really? It's just like, what did we do when we were young? You know, I grew up and playing Xbox or PS2. I was a PlayStation man actually, but you know, it's like, you know, and then you go to college, smoke a bit of weed, you know, do some psychedelics, and you know, it's like, where's that point from childhood? And it plays into society, you know. It's like the average, I read in the article, maybe arbitrary, but like, you know, it said that the average age of a member of society nowadays in Western culture anyway, that's all I can speak for, is about the age of an 11-year-old, because you're still beholden to your gods, your mum and dad, the government, some external hierarchy of control that you're giving your power away to. And in these spaces, you know, within the sweat lodges and the vision quests and all this, what I see is a level of sovereignty, you know, and accountability and authenticity that I think the world is seeking for. You know, it doesn't know that it's because it's just been conditioned to believe that this is the way that it is, but it isn't. It's creating, you know, this world of convenience is very inconvenient, you know, when you break it down. I'm sure I said that in the last podcast, but anyway, it's like, you know, it is. It's more apparent now than ever, but people don't have a connection to spirit anymore.
And this is what's needed, because what I'm seeing on world stage all the time is everyone's looking for someone to carry the torch for them, like whoever it be. And it's like you don't realise how much your own power you're giving away when you can tap into that power.
Yeah.
But even religions don't teach it, do they? It's like, we were speaking off air, oh, it's Jesus this, or it's this, or it's Muhammad that, and I'm like, if they were here today, they wouldn't be they'd be telling you to get tapped into source your own way, not
your
through
heart,
Jesus, and it's not. This is the way. No,
I am the way. That's it. You know. Apparently, he said that I wasn't there. You know. It's like, at least I think I wasn't there. It's like, you know. It's like, I am the way. It's like, but you are the way. Take the name Jesus away from Jesus or Jeshua or whatever you want to call him. You know, it's just a bloke.
And
you know, a realised being.
You're saying it. I am the way. So as soon as I say I am the way, I'm also the way.
That's
exactly. But they're saying it. Oh no, he meant it.
I am the way. Oh, it's you. You know, and look what that's done. It's distorted all of everybody's perception of their own sovereignty, And you know, it's like with mate, you got shot the other day and stuff. Like all I saw, like shooting's irrelevant really to me. I think it was all going to happen anyway. To the stars we choose when we leave this realm, as I believe. And all I saw was a load of people wearing hats and t-shirts, looking at this dude, going like, "You're gonna fucking save us," and it's just like, no, he's not. And then, ironically, he gets shot, you know, and it's just like, oh, your whole world breaks down. Oh, you were going to be it. And oh, now who? You, it's you, mate. You know?
Yeah.
You want
I mean, my take on that, I think it were used, and I think they do it to pick a leader just because every time they can find someone likable and they kill them off, it strikes fear into anyone else wanting to stand up like crabs in a bucket, but they've got the fucking gun on the edge of it.
Interesting, yeah.
That's the way I kind of look at it. But that's just, there were too many symbolisms and stuff that were going on. And like I spoke to you off air, he wanted his real name. And I think the time that, like, if you were to when you're going to rise up, if you start changing your name from Sam Kelsey, you're going to give a name. You've got something to hide, or you're becoming an entity, or in some way you're controlled, aren't you?
It's like I've let go of that old identity and I'm just creating a new one, you know. And it's like, take the name away from all these figures. What is it that they are saying? It's unconditionally love.
Yeah.
That's the stimulus point where all religions, you know, and it's like, this goes into non-duality as well, you know. It's like the non-dual teachings speak about, like, you're it, you know, you're what you're looking for, you know, nothing outside of you is gonna, if there's any attachment to any of that, you know, it's like, I've been given the name Sam, or I chose it before I came into this reality, is what I believe, you know, or into this realm as it is in the third density, you know. But take away the name Craig, what are you? Take away the name Sam, what am I? Oh, well, I'm human. Right, well, take that away, because that's a phonetic sound that I'm making with my mouth. You can't be something that is a sound, you know. It's like your limitless consciousness. You are ever existing in all dimensions, in all realms. And, you know, it's like you say with, you know, they took him out. What took him out? Because there's no there, really.
Yeah.
At a deeper level, there is just the one interacting with itself. And that the map of the stars and the astrology shows us that there are going to be points within this that divinate, don't even divinate, divination. Oh, I need to think on that one. I was just twisting my head out. But like, you know, there's a divine plan to all of this, and we are just watching this. You know, as Shakespeare says, the whole world is a stage, and we are merely characters. As soon as you come off the stage, you're something different. You know, it's like, this is the stage, and that realization of that is a much deeper level of awareness. So I find myself, because I still say it, I still like, they did this or they did that. It's like, who did what to who? Because there is only one thing interacting with itself here. Hence, this is a mirror for like what you've realized, and I've realized. It's like, I need to take accountability for everything that's showing up in my life, you know. And it's like, I'm doing this. It doesn't matter if it appears that people are coming in and doing stuff to you. It's like, I'm drawing this into my reality so that then I can transmute this and see the deeper level that's going on behind it. That's when you come into unification, you know, with the all, you know. We've broken the limitation of the egoic mind, and then we are really truly being it. I am, you know, I am that I am, you know. And then you break it down even further, it's just I, and then you can go like, oh, and you just drift off. it's like
I sometimes do want to do that.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. You know, it's like Alan Watts says it, doesn't he? It's when he says, you know, it's like, if you got up and say you died and you got up and you met God, and you know, it's like, well, what do I ask you? And he's like, well, do you exist? And he's just like, well, here I am, you know. And it's just like, well, now what do we do? And it was just like, I don't know, have a laugh. And it's like, bingo, enjoy it, you know, enjoy the process of finding out who you are, instead of being resistance to it, in resistance to it. That we are creating that resistance, and therefore our own suffering. That's the true essence of that accountability, is that, wow, I can enjoy finding out what I truly am, you know. And that's what I've realized with my connection with my partner is we're really enjoying this thing that I was in resistance to before. I'm scared of this, you know. It's like, you know, there was a breakthrough the other evening that was beautiful, and it was just I got to that point where I wanted to run away and escape again, or the inner child was there going, "Oh, it feels scary. I've done something wrong. I'll just shut down, feel numb, and then I'll just go." You know, and I was just like, right, I'm gonna hang up the phone now because thingy, I don't really understand why I'm doing this in my head. I'm saying that. It's like, okay. And then she just went, "Right, what are you gonna do when you hang up the phone?" And I was like, I don't know. Like, probably just go and eat something to dull this dullness, you know, within me. I was like, where's that going to get you? And I was just like, nowhere. Well, what do we do now then? Because I've never been here before, you know? And this is breaking the limiting thoughts and the conditioned mind. And it was beautiful because then literally I spoke my truth. I feel numb. I feel nothing. And I feel bad for feeling nothing because I feel as though I should feel something. And I feel I've been unjust to you, or I don't get it, you know. But instead of admitting that and taking accountability, I just wanted to run away, you know. But we didn't. And then we broke through it. And then I shared a truth. And that just alchemized that fear or that projection into this beautiful love, you know. And it happened so quickly, Craig. Like, I couldn't believe it, you know. And then 5 minutes later, we're having a laugh about it. And it was like, wow, this is proper alchemy here.
Because you disarmed it.
And I'd been honest, you know, and it was like, I don't understand what's going on, you know, and it's like where, you know, severely autistic people and things, they just have that inherent, they'll just speak out stuff, and they're free, you know, it's just like, I don't care, it's received, this is what I'm feeling, you know, if it triggers you, great, you know, it's like, I don't care, it's not about you, it's just about me realising that deeper level of truth. And it's fascinating how quickly everybody always says, oh, it's got to be integrated and things. It does. The integration, I guess, is just then you taking what you've learned from that experience or that situation and then applying it into your life.
Yeah.
And that's the big part of what we're all learning how to do. But it happens when we break through those uncomfortable, oh, God, I can't do that. You know, it's like, yes, you can. And actually, you find enjoyment in doing that.
Yeah.
Especially in relationships. I find now if there's any, what's the word, like, if there's any sort of like fire behind, it's not the right term, maybe correct us on something, but like if there's any agenda or if there's any like passive aggressiveness or anything like that,
Like friction.
yeah, if there's any charge to what you're saying behind something, that's your inner child going, I'm uncomfortable about saying about this. So I'm going to, you know, pick fault, or I'm going to project, or I'm going to do these things. When actually, when you recognize that charge and it can, as a partner, zoom out and see the inner child freaking out in a slight way, you become neutral with that projection. Yeah. And then you're able to take that on and go, right, what's going on here? Because that felt as though this was a bit charged. And I noticed what it brought up within me. It's bringing up this feeling of this. I don't quite understand that. We're trying to describe energy with words, and it's very clumsy. But when you can start to break that down bit by bit, you find what you truly are, which is love, you know. And that love for people is really scary sometimes, you know, because it feels overwhelming. But be honest about it being overwhelming, and I can guarantee you will break through and alchemize a lot of stuff very, very quickly. You know, and through the mirror of relationships, it's a perfect thing. Like you're saying, I was creating this, you know, through that fear of good intention, you know, God bless your inner child for wanting to protect and help. But the best thing you can do is to be able to go, oh yeah, no, I got this wrong there, or that was me, you know. And as long as you've got a partner who's going, oh, that's okay, that's all right, you know, it's fine, you know, it's like, don't worry about it. You know, it's like, I see you, you know. That's when the beauty of this union, you come into union through reflection of another. And it doesn't have to be a partner. It can be anything that's happening out there. Because I believe as leaders or, you know, way showers for other people, what we're doing is we're learning how to alchemize that energy so that when, you know, there's a situation that's like, whoa, and everybody else is losing the shit, you're able to stand there in peace. It's like Neo with the bullets. No. No. Buddha sat underneath a tree like that, just meditating, and all of this, there's lust in front of him. He's just sat there, no, you're all right. There's all these arrows coming over and stopping there in front of him. And he's just sat there. And it's like, if you don't react to anything, you're in control of your reality. And that's the Taoist principles, so that you're just able to sit in peace no matter what is happening out here.
Yeah.
Because the world is going to get more chaotic. And there are going to be people who aren't able to do that, and showing them through your being of calmness. Why are you so calm? You know what I mean? Why are you so calm? Look at all this. Fucking mental, isn't it? And you're just there like, no, it just is. It just is. We don't know if this is good or bad yet. It's like, because we don't know. The ego mind will go, I'll attach to that and grab onto that. And this is awful. I can play victim with this, and I'll get something out of it for your inner child. And once you see that it's your inner child freaking out, you're like, oh.
It was like that the crops on it that morning when they're on about digital ID, and we just went, shit is that? And I went, it'll be good.
Yeah.
It could be good.
Yeah, exactly.
People stop shopping there, they'll support things like this.
Yeah. And it's that saviour mentality that only sees it as bad because it's going like, it's terrible what they're doing to people and all the rest of it. That's their choice. And I tapped into the Akashic record saying, it's just like all of this stuff that's now occurring, like COVID and all of that. It's like, oh, right. That's breaking people out of their shit. So the more chaotic it gets and the more oppressive control that's put onto you, that's actually the catalyst for the awakening of humanity. And you're going like, oh, it's very smart that, isn't it? And then from that as well, it's like with the digital IDs and things like this, know that every single person who is in this earth stage right now is getting exactly what it is that they've signed up for before they came here. At their frequency level. That's why when we've tried to wake people up and we've forced, all this stuff, why are you seeing it? They won't be able to, because it's not in their contract for this lifetime. So that's the real surrender and letting go, knowing that, like what we were saying before, that darkness that is going to ensue in their lives will or won't break them out. They'll either go deeper into it, which their soul needs in order to learn, or they will recognize it and go, right, what do we do about this? And they will then make conscious decisions in order to get themselves out of that, or some shit.
Yeah, 100%. And going back to like crops, not shops, when you're living on the land, that's what we used to live like in communities. And there was a lady who were on about, she always hears about all these bad stories and texts them on, like, because they play, it's played on your empathic stage, but when you're living in these communities, you're not seeing all that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's how we're supposed to live. I really am like, the way that we got bombarded, they can't bombard you from that way out. You can only know what's going on in your inner world, and that's all you need to survive.
You're removed from it. Yeah, that's it.
We're not supposed to live in big colonies. I don't believe anyway.
And I don't believe that we're meant to be so stimulated by everything that's going on in the world. I hark back to the Eskimos, so back in
us somewhere. Is that where you're heading?
I'm going to be an Inuit, mate. That's it. I'm just going to stab seals and probably drink too much. I don't know. It's like, but the whole essence of that is like, I didn't know who this Charlie Kirk guy was until he died. To everybody else, everyone's like, oh, have you heard about this? And I'm just like, who?
I didn't know who it was.
And then there's other people who say, oh, no, you must know what's going on in the world and everything like this. And it's like, no, you want to change this world and see a better world, then you create it through your own internal world. And we're so overstimulated. Like 100 years ago, Margaret died. Yeah, when? 2 months ago. I just got a pigeon, Everybody sat, it's that quote with that little meme, innit? Somewhere there's some poor sucker sat by a waterfall who hasn't got a fucking clue what's going on, paraphrasing, and it's like, that's the essence of it. The peace that you find, there'll be all these distractions fired at us, And if we go along with it, then our ego's attached to it. Well, you must know what's going on. And they said it to me. My mum, she's watching, they come in the morning, not judging. They just stick the news on because it's almost like they're addicted to that fear,
Yeah.
Because in some way it makes them feel secure, paradoxically. It's very strange.
It's like when I was saying to you, not been posting recently because I didn't want to feed the algorithm, but the algorithm is to keep on posting. But also, when you keep on posting, you've got to have a presence online, so you constantly taking it in. I'm like, it's the plug within the plug. It's trying to suck you into this vortex, and it's like being also. I think I've tried to get to the stage of just see things for what they are, and try not to react to them. And if people do bring it to my attention and say, "Have you seen this?" I try to say, "Have you tried looking at it from this point of view?" Not saying that's the utter truth, but I'm saying. Like Dad at work, he were on about a child, when I says I kind of see him as a chess piece, and he went, well, he was still a bloke and he still died. I'm like, yeah, but he played his part. And I says, but if you looked at all this, there's still division of what his old meaning was. I says, I watched a video this morning of he were playing on saying, if you're in a relationship, this guy were asking about his long time relationship, they don't have the same political views, and he's like, well, you've got to cut that off. And I'm like, I'm looking at what he's doing there. He's telling people to cut off the Trinity. I'm like, so he's preaching one thing and not the other. I'm like, you've always got to look at what the message is, what they're trying to bring down. Me and Zoe don't see. I'm spiritual. I pray and stuff. She doesn't, like, but we have a very coherent relationship. We're married.
It's unconditional.
Unconditional. But for someone on a platform who holds that high regard, and they do sway people, you have these Jordan Petersons, you have Russell Brands who have these opinions, and people don't think for themselves, and it plants a seed of doubt of, oh, should I actually be with this person? And then it breaks the Trinity, and that's what the whole energy. I'm not saying they or whatever. There's an energy that doesn't want us to reproduce. It doesn't want. It's through fear. And I think I just want people to be a bit more vigilant on stuff like that of what's the message being said, and try to dilute it a bit to see what, and does it ring true with you? Are you going to bin someone off because
because you've given your power away to something outside of you?
Again, these false, and that's what they all said. Watch out for false idols. They shouldn't be telling you. We all know how to live as life.
Yeah. And that's unique and as unique as it can be to you. Yeah. And by taking in all of this stimulus, partner and I were talking about it, and it's like there's always something trying to pull you away from your intuition, but the paradox of it is, as there always is that it's getting you to that point of discomfort so that you can realise that it's not in that, it's within yourself. And like it is recently, I'm like watching myself scrolling and I go, oh, hang on a minute, I'm scrolling again. And that's conditioning my consciousness. When actually, if I just put this down, then I don't have to do that, And that's why I always say to people, like, question everything I'm saying. They seem confident in what I'm saying, but I don't know. I can only say what I've learned up until this point. And it's like, before I was coming at it from an avoidant side of things, So it's like, don't listen to me in that moment because I'm not fully healed. I don't realise myself fully. I'm only saying what resonates at this time for myself. Question everything, especially your own thoughts, and especially what you're seeing online as well. And the thing I've noticed is I've cut down my scrolling recently, and I find I have a greater level of peace within my system because I'm not being overstimulated by all this stuff,
When you're over scrolling, I don't know if for me, it feels like the front of my it wants. Like,
it's your prefrontal cortex, isn't it?
Wow, and it feels like it's overheating, but your arms don't want to put it down either. It hasn't happened for a while because now I've started to notice it. And that was what was lovely being in Vision Quest. I didn't feel myself even go. I know the phone wasn't there, but normally you are like hand on it, and now it was nice for that disconnect, not to be in it.
I think it's a dopamine reset, isn't it? That's it. Yeah.
I think it'd be nice to get to a stage where I didn't need one. And the word need. Do we all need one?
Yeah. Do we need to constantly know what's going on in the world all the time? Do we need to be checking our crypto or whatever it is?
Yeah.
It's like, no, I don't believe we do, because really it's a fear response, isn't it? It's like it's anxiety inducing. It's like, yeah, exactly that. Yeah, there's the parallel, because I've just noticed. It's like I just said about my parents watching the news all the time. I'm no better.
You've just got a different device.
I've just got a different device. I'm a hypocrite in that regard. It's like, and that's it. Judging in others, you go to the deeper level and you realise, and this is the honesty and the truth that sets you free. If you're able to see that, oh, I don't like what them people are doing, that means I'm doing it in some way. It's like that's when we start to really liberate from that. And that happens over time. So be gentle with yourselves. Be gentle with myself, Sam. It's like, be honest. All the time. Remember, this is a mirror. For our consciousness. But I do believe in the future there will be a place where I don't think phones will be totally gone. But again, like one of my mentors, Michelle, she says she doesn't have a phone. It's like she does have a phone, but it stays in a box. And if she wants to check Instagram, she goes on a laptop and opens the laptop up, and then it's not a subconscious thing you're doing. You're doing it consciously. So all of these things that we have, we're not saying they're bad. It's how we utilize these things, and if they are then becoming a master, and we are becoming a servant to these things, then it's time to bring awareness to it.
Yeah, Prince said the same thing today. He says the brilliant is in net and phones. He says, but remember, you use the phone, don't let the phone use you.
Yeah.
And that's where it's. I always look as well. I think ancient technology. I think we've had all this before, but when you see like in the paintings, there's never a mobile phone. It's like they knew.
Yeah.
They knew not to have.
They just had a little bag of mushrooms. That was it. It's like,
Little bag of mushrooms.
yeah, exactly. I've got this big stuffy stick thing that I can manipulate energy with and shit. It's just like, imagine the shit that could get done if we didn't have these distractions. That's really it. The essence of what
I think
we're
that's
saying.
what's coming back though, isn't it? Like the telekinesis and all the rest of the stuff.
Yeah.
Like when I first started watching videos, I'm like, fuck it. Yeah, I thought, is it real? And then they're setting fires or whatever with their hands, and I'm like, yeah, that's totally fucking real.
Yeah.
Because I've seen them when they're spinning objects in glass jars.
Yes, yeah.
I think it's House of Rue that he does a lot of it. I'm like, really fascinating. Santos Benucci, they were doing it all. And I'm like, that's just early stages. You can imagine ones who've been doing it. It's like when you watch Matrix and he's bending the spoon. And
Yeah.
who knows
Because you understand that there is no spoon. It's like, yeah, and you are the spoon. And all the kids lined up that's in the video of them, and they've got like there's a pin, isn't there, on a stake about that far, and they're all sat on the floor going like this. And it's like, I've been told in readings that I have the ability to do this as well, and I believe that we all do, but we have to get into that frequency of being where we're able to really tune into the oneness, and that's what the quests help to do. The putting yourself in uncomfortable situations and breaking the limitations, because we are truly one with all of this, so we can have control over all of it, but it will only be given to those who are conscious and aware. It's like, yes, there are nefarious characters here who are playing the role of the contrast. So we can call them whatever names you want. It's irrelevant. They are an energy that is affecting, and there has been an imbalance on Earth for so long that we have, we believe that they are our gods or whatever it is. So all of our power is being given away to that. And then whenever we try and break out of it, we feel bad. And that's that lack mindset.
Yeah.
That's a distortion. We are abundance. We are all of this, and that coming back into that frequency can be quite challenging for the mind that wants safety and security and all of this. And actually beyond that, when you look in at any fear, it dissolves, and then you get clarity. We have no idea where we're going in this lifetime. No. It's so exciting.
Yeah,
to feel into that unknowing, and that's what the powers that were, they they are helping us through causing pain and suffering so that we break out of that limited belief about ourselves, so that we're able to really tune into that and start, like how was Machu Picchu made? You look at the rocks there and they're like, there's one this big in with, separated out. The perfection and the accuracy of these things, we couldn't do that nowadays.
I think you're saying that the ones that they find in India as well, and how they're perfectly carved out of stone, and there's some moving bits, like there's pillars that move, that's a spin. And then you look at the technology that is coming out now, of where they're doing the laser cutting out of the stones. I think they're selling them in China, where you can get imprints out of it. And I'm like, it's just that on a bigger scale.
Yeah. Maybe they just 3D printed it all,
Yeah.
Turned stone. There we go.
I just think the technology that's coming out now, and I don't think it can be stopped. What is coming is coming.
Mm-mm.
And I think the more they put pressure on, the more we're going to see. The reason why you've seen all these things on like, I got told ages ago, they're like, you got fast tracked, and it's because the way that I got fast tracked in my own head is I've glued myself to all these things that I've seen what's going to come. So you can see. And once you realise you don't have to be that person who makes them all. It's happening anyway. Like you said, the Tao,
I don't have to do everything.
It's in control. Like these people are emerging, who have their own craftsmanship, and you see it like Joe, Vision Quest, and all these great leaders coming in these areas of. It's happening. It's happening simultaneously. All these great practices. Yeah, there'll be some crap people doing that, but that'll all divinely work itself out.
Exactly.
Like all the truth's coming to the surface, and all his own bullshit's coming to the surface. And it's if you're gonna empower yourself and acknowledge it, take accountability, and release it, and go, this isn't a part of me anymore. This rebirth, that's where it goes. And the more that you share these stories with people, it always reflects something back in them. So like, wow, I didn't realise I were doing that as well. So you are being that beacon of light, and I think it's very, like when I even went down to crops and seen all that, I love the concept of it. I still want to live in a house somewhere, but I like the idea of being on land and everyone being. Like even the women that were singing, well, they were making that cacao, and I was like, it's just beautiful. It is just a beautiful.
Anna's voice is just. I say to her every time, just like your voice, Anna. It's just it melts me. It's fantastic, and that shows you that everybody's being divinely placed for a reason, And as long as we don't resist the suffering, resist the hard points of it, and we lean into it more, that's when the beauty, and you see the deeper level of what you're capable of doing.
It's when we start running from it, we end up tired, and it consumes us in a far worse way anyway.
It's going to get you anyway. You can go kicking and screaming, or you can go willingly, you know what I mean? And willingly looks like ice baths, It doesn't have to be this. It's just, there doesn't even have to be any practice. You've just got to be aware of what this divine process is.
Well, it's like you say, moving without fear, because I think they were saying it with the bisons. When there's a storm that comes, a bison will run towards the storm, so he'll run straight through it.
Yeah.
And cows and all the rest of it will run until they're too knackered, and it gets them anyway. It's like, which way do you want to play it?
Yeah. Oh God.
Just tackle
well,
it.
the poor cows are stuck in a field, so they can only go so far. The bison have a bit more scope, don't they? There's a potential here. We might actually get away from this one. We could just swerve it and it goes that way anyway. Have fun. There you go.
That's what I wanted to touch on as well. The grid work, you were on about grid work, like when we went up to Tor and we went and seen that, and how important is it doing grid work, and how do you tap into it?
Well, this is the interesting thing, because this plays into like light coding, light encoding and stuff like this, but it happens effortlessly, and that's what I realised. I've been doing it not aware over the last 2 years, because I've just been travelling around in my car and staying in my tent here, there, everywhere. And then after a while, you start to discern, I was in that place, I went there, and then other people are saying, oh yeah, there's like dragon lines there and stuff like that. I'm like, how is it? I just ended up there, just serendipitously and stuff. So I don't actually know what it is that I'm doing. I know energetically when I've got my feet on the ground in certain areas, and that's why I'm going to all of these trees. And I just listen to my what do I love to do? I love sitting with ancient trees. Like, I love trees. They are just fascinating and just holding and grounding and lovely. And I go and sit in them, and I'll just, whatever happens at the time, I'll sit and or I'll just sit and meditate, and I won't do anything, but I'm just emitting this love. That's the way that I see it. I'm emitting this love into the energy of the ground, or into the trees, or into the stones at Avebury, or whatever it is. And then from that, it's almost like universe rewards you by then connecting you with people who are at them sites or whatever it is, and then that leads you into another area. But consciously, I don't know. It's like,
because when we got off at Quest, I never go walk Luna. Like, I normally go to the same places, like Forest or whatever, woods. And then it took me down like Kirkstall. And I'd been watching a young gentleman, I can't remember his account on Instagram. He's been out in all these fountains with water. They're like, you get down at Glastonbury, it's free. And there's one down at Kirkstall, and it says, be grateful for the water, and they've cut it off. And it's like, it takes you round places in different ways. And you I think what it does as well, it for me, how I perceive grid work after you mentioned it is, because you're taking your mind to new places and your body to new places, and you're starting to think of new processing because you're seeing different outcomes. Even like the way that we're driving to work, if we'd been there for a while, I'd go a different way. So like it gets so
Diversity,
mundane, because it does. It just, and I think that's something about me in my head, whether it's to say it's ADHD. I need to do the same week over and over. It pains me.
Yeah, it's monotonous.
It becomes like life's more than this same week being copy and pasted. It makes me want to die. When people tell me how the routine is on a week and it hasn't changed for 20 years, a bit of me dies inside. I'm like, that cannot be me.
Yeah, totally. Because we want that we want to be ever expanding and growing, don't we?
Yeah,
there's that yearning. And I think everybody on earth is like that as well. We constantly yearn for that, but we've been trapped. We've been trapped unconsciously into patternings that just don't light us up anymore. And then we get stagnant, and we just think, oh, this is it. I'm going to work in a factory for however long. There's nothing wrong with working in a factory, but like, it's that same thing, because we've just been said that this is the way we do it. This is just, you just get on with it and shut up. And it's like, no, I don't want to get on with it and shut up. I want a diverse life. Hence why, if anybody asks me what you're doing 2 weeks from now, I'm just like, I haven't got a clue. Do you truly know? And then it's almost like, oh, it's weird. How can you be comfortable in that? I'm more grounded when I don't know, because I'm allowing that flow state almost,
that space.
Yeah, I have intention, it's like follow your highest joy in the moment, and then let go of everything after that, and that will align you to your highest timeline. When you know what you're doing, you don't know, it's like something can come in and it'll just take you onto another path, and I think it helps people to see me do the way that I do my life. It allows them to go like, oh, there's a possibility for me. Why aren't I just going out and trying different experiences and doing all these things, But literally, I just feel in my heart. I'll sit and meditate. I'll be like, where do I want to go now? There? No, it's not there. Where do I want to go now? Maybe over there? No, it's not there either. Where about there's Scotland? Let's go Scotland. Yes, okay, right, okay. And that's that quiet voice that we're speaking about. That guides me, And then opportunities and everything just arise, and you say yes or no to them based on the energy, And it's just like, that's all I've done. I didn't know what I was going to be doing. Day before yesterday, I was like, I know I'm going up to Yorkshire on Wednesday, but I'm not actually in the Airbnb with my daughter until Thursday. I know I'm going up to see Craig. Well, what am I doing then? And then Lance gets in touch, and it's just like, there, that was it. I was opening a space that I didn't even know, because I'm listening to that quiet little voice inside of me that's going like, I don't know, I need to go north, I know that, and then you let go, and then literally the universe goes like, dup, 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 good, he's in there, there you go. There's an opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to say yes to that opportunity either. You know, if it doesn't feel right, you know, go and do something else or whatever. But yeah, it's just listening to that quiet voice, and that's what the quest helped me to do, is to feel again. You know, instead of shutting down and numbing it out. You know, it's like, I'll tell you what I am feeling at the moment is I really need a piss.
Here at Disciples of Truth, we're proud to partner up with Charlie's Apothecary. Charlie's got some cracking products. I mean, cracking. And to start off with, it'd be Cordyceps, and it's the first product I actually tried at Charlie's. And it's a dual extraction, and Cordyceps is renowned for natural energy booster, helps fight diseases, and it's great for sex drive for those that care to wish, and and you can wish. But no, on a serious note, I don't like, well, if you're going to the gym, if you've got low energy, I don't like the pre-workouts. This is great with a few drops of water. Swig it down, swirl it around your mouth, and off you go. And it can be aided throughout the day. And then the next product we've got is my personal favourite, is the 4 blended salts. Salts gets a really bad rap through propaganda and doctors saying that we overuse it, when it's not true at all. To get the best salts in is one of the most natural ways of getting all the essential minerals into your body flow. So I'd give it a go. And it has Salinas del Carmen salt that originates from the Canary Islands, Fuerteventura, if you really want to know. It's one of the highest grades that you can have. And then it's got another three blends to go with. And the next product we've got, it really don't need an introduction. It's Shilajit. You must see it everywhere. It's got 85 trace minerals. And it's good for energy, mental health, and clarity. And this is sourced from the Himalayan mountains. And I've tried many different brands of Shilajit, and I'd put this at the top of the ladder. And it's really nice packaging as well. And then last but not least is the oregano. It's the triple extraction. This is good for boost immunity, gut health, lowers cholesterol, fights inflammation, it aids weight loss. And I've just personally used this. The house some of his family members got sick, and it kept it off, and I haven't managed to get sick through it. Same again. Put in water, swirl around the mouth. Brilliant products. What you also get from these products is it's handcrafted. He puts a lot of time and effort, him and his team. It's UK only at the moment until it expands more. So it's only UK only, postage and packaging. What Charlie also does is he grows his own mushrooms. So we know that they're tried, tested, and they're also for freshness. So hit the link in the bio and go check out Charlie's new website. So all his range of products is on there, and there's something for everyone. So yeah, go check it out, guys.
You wanted to talk on?
I don't know. I literally just wanted to say how grateful I am to you for creating this space and creating the everything that you're doing, the podcast for people, because like not only have you've done it really well in here. It's so beautiful, and it's really appreciated that your intention in doing this stuff, Craig, because if we didn't connect, this is the beauty of it all.
I think this is why we did connect though, is like I could see what you were going through. I could see like the teary videos or whatever it was, but it were pure you trying to help others see themselves, like actually showing what it's like going through these life events that are fucking hard.
Yeah.
They're hard, but to show other people that it's not just them that's going through it, and there is a way out of it, and each time that you're striving for it, you're helping them on some. I think that's one thing that we're all tied into, is like the compassion that we're all going through the shit in different fucking stages, and it helps easing the load that we know that, like, that's what we want with Vision Quest, like speaking to people, hearing other people's stories in them sweat lodges. Well, the thing that shifted the most for me is because you see it all within yourself, and you need that
reflection.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, totally. Makes sense that I've chosen the reflector archetype in this lifetime, to come in and to do that. And I feel as though energetically something has shifted in that experience of, maybe there was a bit of resistance to me being my true self, and I can't be of service here if I'm not being fully honest with who I am, because it allows other people it gives them permission to be able to enter into that space. And I love the work that I do. I don't really call it work. I love
your life,
my life and what I'm doing, because I help ground people who are maybe losing it, through my psychosis, or the psychosis that I went through. That's been one of the greatest gifts, because I can help steer people, and it's all love. That's what I realised. All of this is love. Every single thing here is love. It may not seem it, we can say fear and terror and all of that. That taught me the most about how to love. That's all psychosis is, from my perception, is you are very ungrounded in the truth within yourself, and in order to be able to purge and release and then embody what it is, you go through these experiences, but it's all geared towards, now in retrospect, looking back, I like my life. I love my life, and when you can get to that point of whatever's showing up for you, to be able to instantly go, there's a lesson here, that's the biggest gift, rather than looking at it as this is being done to me, because the controlling bodies and all of them, they want us in that place of victimhood so that we don't take accountability, because then we're not conscious, we're unconscious, and when we're unconscious, we're controllable, and then they can feed off our energy. But then the paradox of it is that helps you to be able to realize yourself if you do move into that place of discomfort. So seek that discomfort. Don't wait for it to come to you, because when it comes to you, you won't have the right tools or abilities or awareness or perception to be able to do anything about it or transmute it. So you'll just repeat that cycle, and it's like that's the big takeaway from what I've learned in this journey, is that humility as well, being able to hold your hand up and go, I got it wrong. That's the biggest strength that we all have, because we're all holding on to these identities that have been built on shit. It's like on lies.
We all try doing it ourselves too much as well at the start, don't we? Instead of just saying, "Fucking, I'm struggling here. I need help." That's when I've found you find the most growth anyway, because they've got the toolkit. So they're going, "Oh, I have been on the quest, or I've been and done this, I've been done that." And these are the toolkits that are going to help you. Yeah. And then it's through direct experience of taking your ass there and actually doing it.
Yeah.
And whether it be fasting, you that uncovers so much in yourself. Does fasting?
Yeah.
It does. It allows the fear to drop, and you just get to. It's far more than just not eating. It's far more. The things that come up, the sleep. I just for me, after the quest, I've realised how much food anchors me into this world. Like how much more tired I am without the food. I feel phenomenal. My whole body feels phenomenal, and but there's that crutch of when I feel scared, I'll eat or I'm numb. Yeah, and when I'm understanding integration now, it is going to take some time, because it's been deeply embedded. It's my scapegoat. Yeah, but I'll get there, because I can see how much it is affecting my life.
You're aware of it, isn't it? Yeah, and all in divine timing with that. Yeah, breaking that cycle of food, especially for me, that's my vice. It's not my vice. I don't want to own that, but it's a vice that I'm aware of, that does dull everything. And actually, we all want to feel more, but we've been conditioned to believe that feeling bad or feeling depressed or sad or angry, that's the big one that comes up with fasting, is I'm able to connect to that anger and release that anger, so I'm no longer taking offense or doing what it is, or feeling as though I'm not good enough. That's really the big one with food and me, is I feel unworthy in some way, so I dull it by eating.
And it gave me a lot more compassion for people with addictions as well, because I'm like, yeah, but they've got that, and they do this and they do that. I'm like, well, if I know my awareness is mind eating and I can't stop my eating, where's the goddamn compassion for people that they're the only thing that gives them relief.
Yeah.
And so it really tied that in for me. It's like,
Mm.
who am I to point the finger at someone else if I hadn't even become a master of my own
Yeah.
inner world, like
That's it.
self-mastery.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Whenever we have an opinion about anything or, you know, a judgment, you know, it's like, stop and just go, it's me. There's something in me, you know, and that's the accountability, and that's the Christ consciousness in essence as well. But to touch on what you said about allowing help in, you know, it's like we've been, especially avoidant patterning people. Their wound is that they will not ask for help because when they have in the past, they've been shut down or they've been made to feel silly about asking for help or shamed or hit or whatever it is. When actually the real strength is to go, I can't do this on my own. And that's the one thing since that experience, everything has started to shift. You know, it was clearing my debts. That was it. I can't do this on my own. Right, okay. The universe is always wanting me to be on my highest timeline. What do? I reach out, debt consolidation agency. Everything's been, well, half of it's been written off. And I was just like, oh, I could have done that years ago. But I couldn't because I wasn't in that right space. Acceptance, compassion for the inner child. Then it's like, you know, with moving fully into this place, we can't do it alone. And I think loads of us isolate ourselves because we feel as though if we are asking for help, and these are usually the overgivers as well, I see this from myself, the overgivers will be so resistant and scared to asking for help as well. But since I've actually started to pray and go, right, I really need help with this, you know what I mean? That admittance is that you open up, and then you allow that in. And then since then, it's like, you know, on the way here, I was speaking to a financial advisor, you know, because everything is starting to rock and roll in the business. And I'm like, wow, this feels great. I don't understand how to deal with the finances on this side of things. It's been a massive block for me. Since clearing that debt, that block of fear has been removed. So then energetically, the universe has to bring you what it is that's on the other side of that. But then it's about you going, hey, I need help. So I've got a beautiful half an hour call with this guy who's really tapped in spiritually and all the rest of it. And he's an advisor, and he's just helped me to realise that, oh, wow, I can do that. And help's there. It's effortless, you know. So you don't have to try or force anything. All you got to do is prayer works, but prayer is useless unless you action things and you take steps towards that. And that's the conscious awareness. Break those fears, you know, really get beyond that. So I'm excited to see, you know, where life goes now, you know, because I can feel that energetic shift that I've been crying out for, but not willing to admit to myself, you know. So, yeah, on the other side of it is huge, great things, but we can't just sit there in a room and pray and expect it to happen. We do have to action things.
You've got to go through yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to unlock
Yeah.
the internal wisdom within. And
Yeah.
that they are through programs that we don't necessarily want to
Yeah.
acknowledge that we took on some bullshit.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
yeah, some beautiful things are coming for you, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Can see it.
Oh, right back at you, mate. You know, it's so nice, mate, because I think the friendship that was formed from, you know, I can't remember when we last did this one. It was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It was last year.
I think it might have been similar time to now.
Yeah,
really.
possibly. Yeah. Can't remember where was I on the way to. Anyway, doesn't matter. But like, you know, it's like that's it. I was on my way down south somewhere, wasn't I? I can't remember. No, I wasn't. I came down for the day and then went back up north. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Anyway, right. But yeah, thank you, Craig, because I really enjoy our phone calls and our connection, and I think it adds a level of depth to this as well, which is great. You know, it's like people will be able to see, you know, the love that we have for one another. It's just like, great, but you know, it's like
you know what? I had so much resistance to it. Like Dan would say, he was like, "Love you, man," and I'm like, oh, I'm like, you said it, and I'm like, no, it's starting to decay. Is that? It's just normal to say it.
Yeah.
It's only because of programming, because it. Yeah, again, like you know,
yeah,
it's off a programming, off a fucking off movies, programs.
Oh, that lad said that sunset's beautiful. It is. It's truth, isn't it? But that's the thing as well. It's like with that love. That's the thing I noticed about being down on crops was, I just said in circles like I love you all, and I look everybody in the eye, and go around and connect, and that makes all the difference. That the connection is love. Yeah, exactly, and whenever anybody is going away for a day, or they're just leaving or whatever, or just going making a tea or whatever it is, they're leaving for an evening or going to bed, then I just say I love you, and that is everybody now then says I love you all the time, and
becomes common practice.
Yeah.
And that's how quickly it can change things.
Yeah, because that's all people want to do is know that they're loved and seen and heard. It's like. And I feel that within myself, and it's like we've been in places where that hasn't been reciprocated, but it ain't going to stop me from doing it. You know what I mean? It's like, that's the big one. See what everybody else is doing. Is that working? No. Right. Love. Starting to work now. It's like, makes all the difference. But yeah, thanks, mate.
No, thank you very
Proper
much.
bro. Love it. All right.
Love you too.